Welcome back to D6 Inspiration, where I show you all the cool stuff that I made when I should have been studying back in college. It's fine, I still graduated. Today we are talking about 3 low-level magic items that would be great for starting an adventure. But I think you'll find that while they are good at low levels, they also hold up quite well at higher levels. Don't believe me? See for yourself. Let's start off with the Weapon of Charging. This weapon can either be a spear or a lance, and it's uncommon rarity. The tip of this weapon seems to sharpen as you move. Your first attack with this weapon on each turn does 1 additional point of damage for every 10 feet you moved directly toward the target on this turn. When you take the dash action on your turn, you may make a single attack with this weapon as a bonus action. If you moved at least 30 feet directly toward the target, the attack is made with advantage. This item is super useful when you are just out of range of that monster that you just need to attack this turn. The Goblin Scout is running off to alert the rest of the camp, and you just can't quite get there with your 30 feet of movement. No problem, use your action to dash the rest of the way, and then use a bonus action attack using the Weapon of Charging. Plus, you get advantage on the attack, and a couple of extra points of damage. That may sound like a lot of bonuses to get all at once, and it is, but that's not a scenario that will likely happen every turn, or even every combat. If you attack an enemy that you started your turn next to, this weapon is no more useful than a common spear. That's because the whole point, pun intended, of this weapon is to encourage moving in combat. I've said before that I think standing still and attacking the same enemy turn after turn is boring, even if you're moving a few squares here and there. But that is the kind of combat that the D&D rules reward, so it's up to the Dungeon Master to mix things up. That's where this weapon comes in. In a recent video from Mystic Arts, Dottie reminded us of something that Matt Colville once said.
Matt Colville said it very succinctly.
The behavior a game rewards is the behavior a game encourages.
This item is doing exactly that, giving a mechanical bonus to reward and therefore encourage certain behavior. In this case, that behavior is moving in combat. If you're a Dungeon Master and you are tired of boring combat at your table, this won't solve all your problems, but I think you will find that it will make you and your players both think a little more spatially and perhaps tactically. This item probably fits best in levels 2 through 4, but it's certainly situationally useful in higher levels as well. Obviously, any martial class could use this well, fighter, barbarian, paladin, etc. But I think it actually shines the most as a monk weapon, since monks are already incredibly fast and love to move around the battlefield. A low-level monk with enough runway could deal 8 extra points of damage with a Spear of Charging, and at the highest levels, could deal up to 12 extra points of damage with a single attack. And don't even get me started on haste or other spell enhancements. This sadly does not enable a rogue's sneak attack, even though it gives advantage, because a spear is not a finesse weapon. But hey, it's your game, you can do whatever you want. Make this a Dagger of Charging. It's finesse, could give an advantage if you moved at least 30 feet, and I think that's a great combo. Let me know what you think of the Weapon of Charging in the comments down below. Next up is the Helmet of Headbutting. This reinforced steel helmet has been designed for maximum damage. While you are wearing this helmet, you may use an action to make an unarmed strike as a headbutt attack. On a hit, the target takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage and is stunned until the start of their next turn. If you roll a natural 1 on your attack roll with the helmet, you are stunned until the start of your next turn. Gotta love a good headbutt. Stunning an enemy is always very useful, and in this case it's especially easy because it doesn't require a saving throw. Although that may be a mistake, we'll get to that in a second. Because this is so easy to stun an enemy, I didn't want to mess up the action economy too much by taking away their entire turn. So know that this only stuns an enemy till the start of their next turn. This way you and your allies still get the follow-up advantage with any attacks that you make before the start of that enemy's next turn, but they still get to take an action. This is a bit of a silly concept for an item, and I'm sure someone else has made something similar because it's such a simple idea. When I make an item that's like this, that's kind of more for the laughs than the functionality, I still want to make it functional for those who actually want to use it in their games. I don't think this is too ridiculous for most games, so I hope I struck a decent balance here. I'd recommend using this item in the low levels of 1 through 5. I think probably it will start to taper off in usefulness after that point. Any character can technically wear this helmet, but it would be best for melee fighters because you use strength for unarmed strikes. A barbarian would be the best choice, naturally, and if you use this attack while you're raging, you even get your rage bonus damage because it counts as an unarmed strike. So one thing I'd like your feedback on is the lack of a saving throw for the stun effect. Even though I made it so it doesn't steal a turn from the enemy when you stun them, I can still see it being a big problem against boss monsters that have legendary actions. Since legendary actions happen between turns, stunning them could actually take away those actions, which could be a big problem. This is mainly meant for low levels anyways, so it may not come up that often, but it may be just too strong against bosses, so it may need some tweaking. A saving throw may just solve this problem, and maybe not. Let me know what you think. Last, but certainly not least, the air step boots. While wearing these boots, you may make 3 steps in midair before touching the ground. The boots do not improve your physical ability, so the DM may still require you to make an ability check to succeed on the maneuver. I imagine these for a character who is fast and agile, who loves to navigate dense cities up and away from the busy city streets. Leaping from rooftop to rooftop, or in between balconies, or out of a window, these boots allow for all kinds of creative acrobatic stunts just outside of a character's regular range of abilities. While all that is my primary intention for this item, you could actually do some other crazy stuff with these. You could also technically use these boots to just like stand in midair, or even, perhaps more usefully, save yourself from falling. The more I think about this item, the more use cases I come up with. I think that is one of the benefits of creating an item that doesn't interact directly with any mechanics of the game, but rather mechanics of real life. It gives players the opportunities to be creative and think outside the box. I did want to talk about one particular mechanic about this though, and that is the fact that this item requires attunement. I'd rather they not require attunement, but I think based on the way that they work, it's necessary. Let me explain by asking this question. How do the boots know that you're taking a step? The boots are making basically a small force field for you to step off of, so when does that happen? If you step off a ledge into midair, you could be stepping up or down, but how would the boots know which it is? It seems to me that they would have to read your mind or intention in some way, and that is exactly what I believe that attunement is for. Attuning to an item makes some kind of connection with it, meaning you could control it in certain ways with your mind. So while I don't prefer to require attunement for items that you wear specifically, I couldn't think of any way out of it with these boots. If you can think of something, I'd love to hear it. So these are definitely good at low levels, but I think they're very good at high levels as well, unless of course you find some pair of boots that you prefer. Teleportation is generally better than this for getting to places you can't normally reach, but there's lots of situations where you would use these boots where teleportation just wouldn't be that useful. Plus, these boots basically recharge by landing on the ground, so they're essentially unlimited in use, and teleportation rarely is. Of course, acrobatic characters like rogues, rangers, or bards would get the most use out of this item, but they're so broadly useful, I think that any character would be happy to have them. Please let me know if you can think of some kind of explanation that I could remove attunement from these boots. I would really appreciate it. Also, please let me know how you would use these boots if your character had them. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here and starting me off on this journey in YouTube. I'm having a lot of fun, and I've got lots more items to share with all of you. This is a playlist of all my items so far, and I will have a video right here that YouTube thinks that you'll like. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you'll be notified when my next video comes out, hopefully very soon. In the meantime, I'm gonna go make some more items, and I'll see you soon. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.